afternoon. Just want to start off with a couple questions to you. One, if we could just show by show of hands who we have in the room represented from what region. So if you are from the United States, just show by raise a hand. Okay. Anyone from Europe? From Russia. Well, Asia. Oh, and we are from Russia. Glad to have you here. From Asia. We share what part? Korea. Korea.
From Nepal.
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 Okay. Anyone from Africa? Okay. Start off with this gentleman here.
I'm from Uganda.
Who we got?
Kenya.
Kenya.
From Nigeria.
And Nigeria. Wonderful. Welcome. Did I leave out any place?
Yes. Paraguay, South America.
South America. South America. So we have Paraguay represented. Any other places? I know we talked briefly about Australia. Yeah, well, good. And also, I just want to ask, how many of you work with youth and young adults in your work every day, or have a desire to do that? So primarily, everyone here is, in some way, shape, or form, is part of an effort to help build our future leaders, our future world leaders. One of the questions that I was wrestling with as we looked at the title, how do we educate and how do we raise moral and innovative leadership? I looked at what brought us together. We're here at the Global Peace Conference. Just by maybe a couple responses, when you think of peace, what do you think of?
Yeah, peace, just the cosmetic form of peace. It's just really people not saying much. You know, it's an absence of opinion, or don't get me wrong. I love peace. I want peace.
Well, this is fun.
Okay, but just as the cosmetic form of peace, we just really want people to sit down and shut up.
Many times that is what we do. Sure.
I look at it as relaxation or something that you can, it's comforting. Happiness. There's no hostility, and you can just be yourself. You can just relax.
I think of it as loving your brother, your sister. Even though you might have different opinions and have different backgrounds, you just accept the other person and respect and love him or her. So it's just this movement of love.
Peace, movement of love. Sure.
That is what I want to say.
Movement of love. I just went there first.
That
There you go. Go back there.
Yeah, I think that peace is actually sitting down and educating people about other perspectives and having the maturity to understand that even though it might not be the same as yours, it's still valuable.
I saw a couple more hands. I'll go here, and I'll go here. And then
Okay, I've heard it said in the past that the absence of conflict is not peace. But actually, I like the absence of conflict. Because, just a couple of days ago, we came out of a terrible scenario watching on CNN in the Middle East, between Israel and the Palestinians. And, what is peace in that context? It's the absence of conflict. So, yeah, so we need to find ways of avoiding conflict.
Yeah, I was going to say it's. I think it's deliberate collaboration, intentional collaboration, in spite of the opportunity, taking the opportunity to commit or to engage in conflict. You literally take a choice to collaborate intentionally.
like it. I like the intentionality. Does anyone else have any thoughts, comments on peace before we go forward?
I just want to agree with him, because I was thinking that it's not the lack of opinions or saying that people can't have different opinions, but it's the choice to be
Right.
on one accord
That's
in
it.
some area, in some kind of way, finding that medium.
Yes, sir.
To me, peace is a state of comfort as a result of having your needs met and your rights respected. To me, that's peace.
Right, you respect. Absolutely. So as we have heard, and I don't know if we're capturing these in any way, but everyone has an experience with peace. When everyone thinks of something, when you hear the word peace, and I think it's important when we take the time to define what peace looks like, because sometimes it can be just something that kind of sits out there on the horizon, and we think of peace, and sometimes we think of it in a way as something that is never really attainable, something that we won't ever really get an opportunity to experience. But I just would like to share for a few moments through the organization that I work with here in the Atlanta area called Youth Universe, why we focus on peace and reconciliation as part of the work that we do. I believe that peace is something that's tangible. Peace is something that has concrete benefits. These are things that you can teach. These are things that you can share with your children, with your young people that you work with. There's true value in peace, some that I would like to lift up and share. For me personally, when I experience peace, I have clarity. There's peace in my spirit, and I'm able to have clarity in my thought, which leads to further actions. Peace allows for me to have focus. It allows for me, again, to begin to look at the issues that may form some form of chaos that exists around me. But when I have this sense of peace and I operate from that, then I can have focus. It also provides for discipline in order to develop ourselves in a way in which we can go outside of ourselves and seek relationship with others. It starts with a sense of peace that begins within. And when we have that peace within ourselves, then we have the willingness to go outside of ourselves and connect with others. And another concrete benefit of peace for me is discernment. When you're clear in your thought, when you have clarity in your mind, and there's a sense of peace and centering. There's an author by the name of Howard Thurman that wrote a book and several other writings that he put together under the title The Centering Moment. He speaks to what does it mean to have this peace from within. And as we shared, I wanted to bring us into a conversation about the process of peace. And that peace is a process, that peace is something that is a journey, something that we can embark on individually as we look at connecting with other communities to bring about peace in our neighborhoods, in our states, in our cities, in our world as we go forward. I also look at peace as a way as more than just a feeling. It's more than just an expression. Peace also includes being able to give life to other individuals. Peace also includes some of the things that we heard, the nurturing aspects. Peace also includes a certain lifestyle. Peace includes a language. These are things that I'm sharing as practical ways as you go back into your communities to have this conversation with your young people as we're looking at raising and developing moral and future leaders. Our organization mission, which is Youth Universe, is to simply build youth and young adults through intercultural and interfaith relationships. Right now we focus here in Georgia, but we are connecting with other cities and other states around the U.S., and we are gaining with our international relationship partners as well. The way that we go about this is that we do two things. We focus on developing the community at the neighborhood level by, one, helping young people gain an understanding of how can they impact their local neighborhood. So through projects like civic engagement projects, being able to understand how do you engage systems and structures to bring about justice and peace. To take a step back, to walk through the process, again, we started with peace, starting with the individual. So that's what we teach and that's what we share. But then, as that peace grows, as that peace matures, then it causes a concern, or it should raise our consciousness to the concerns of others around us. And part of the process for me as an individual, when we grow and when we develop, we begin to see how it is that we connect with the world around us. And that world includes structures and systems. And so many times in our development, we're excited about finding our individual voice. We're excited about stating what it is that we believe. But as we mature and as we grow, we go from looking at our development and our understanding, and then how does it relate with the world around us. And that's, for me, what we teach in the way of the connectional point, meaning that it's important for me to have a sense of peace so I can understand the context in which other people are experiencing their lives. And so as I'm able to walk in peace, I'm able to understand and sit with someone from any other area. And instead of me trying to maintain my peace by sharing with someone else what it is that I believe, then it opens up the conversation and allows for me to learn from the other, and then how we can experience developing and growing peace together. So that's just a practical step and teaching point that we use through Youth Universe. A couple quick other points just to share as we go into our conversations about faith and values and morals and those areas. A couple that I would like to highlight for me over the past 10 years is the work that I've been doing in the interfaith community. What got me involved with doing this work was not too long after 9/11 here in the United States. I was living in the New Jersey area. I was living in New York, and during that time period, it was a lot of chaos in the New York area. But in order to grow and to learn, there needed to be a place where we can go and we could process together. And so I had the opportunity to sit down with people of other faiths, other backgrounds, other ethnicities in the New Jersey area to really talk through a tough period of time. So that for me was my initial entry point into this work. And from there, it evolved into going to school and working through further personal development. But now it has matured into the point in which we've created an organizational structure to carry out this work forward, and then to be able to invite other people into. So I encourage you, as you're working with young people, as you're going through your own personal process of development, that look at creating your own organization. And in your own, it means that you're just creating structure to invite other people into this conversation so they can begin to look outside of themselves and begin to look at the world around us. I want to leave with a couple quotes, particular to the period of Dr. King in 1967. This was approximately 1 year before his assassination. And Dr. King had gone through personal development, and at this stage of his life, he was really connecting with the world around him in some powerful and some bold and some influential ways. One of the quotes in one of his messages, which was preached at Riverside Church, he simply said that, "I am convinced that if we are to get on the right side of the world revolution, we as a nation must undergo a radical revolution of values. We must rapidly begin to shift from a thing-oriented society to a person-oriented society." He further went on to say that when machines and computers, profit motives, and property rights are considered more important than people, the giant triplets of racism, materialism, and militarism are incapable of being conquered. It was statements like this that really put Dr. King's life in danger. He had shifted to that audience was not focused on a critique of other people and of the world, but it was a critique of America itself. And he was looking at the conversation from within himself and how he, as a African-American man, as a preacher from the Christian background, what would he say to people outside of himself that were in communities that maybe within the American context, they weren't held in high regard? He went on further to say that he felt compelled that it was his responsibility as a preacher, as a person of faith, to extend himself to those other persons and share the world with them. Now, these were dangerous times in the way of when he brought these points up. It really put his life in grave danger. I share all that to simply say that over the past 10 years, we've gone through some tremendous growth points as a world. We have media that we can use at our disposal that connects us to points around the world in ways that are unprecedented, ways in which we're able to learn about other individuals, their culture, their world, in a way in which we're able to be informed and educated. So now we have the opportunity through our work to be able to bring about peace, justice, and reconciliation. So this is the platform for Youth Universe. This is why we do what we do, because we know that it takes responsible, moral, and innovative thought leadership to be able to engage in this work. And so we have to train our young people to use the tools of media properly, but not only just use the tools of media to express their own voice, but to also be able to generously give voice to others as their stories unfold around the world. So with that, I'll conclude, and we'll look forward to continuing the conversation around the table today. Thank you.
And we wanted to definitely allow some time to give you choice, opportunity to discuss amongst yourselves, but then since there were some questions kind of hanging in the air, we were just going to allow 5 minutes or so if you had any questions for us before we go into the discussion for you all.
Yeah, I can have